Hey there, YouTube. Welcome to episode 21 of Shane Plays Spirit Island. Um, Still coming down off the high of that last episode. I looked back at the screenshot I took of the score the other time. I had basically won the same turn and with the same number of Dahan, but I had taken, I think, 3 blight, whereas this time I took 0 blight, so that was the 3 point difference there. Is I managed to do it without taking any blight. So I do think it's going to be very hard to beat that score in the future because, as I said, I don't tend to remove blight, so I can't improve the score there. It's very rare for a card to come up that creates Dahan, so it's hard to improve the score there. I could theoretically win a turn earlier, but it's kind of tricky to put out enough damage to get to Terra level 2 a turn earlier. So yeah, I think 109 might be about my limit on that scenario. So I'm happy I hit it. Anyway, as I mentioned, we are now going after a new achievement. Trying to remember what it's called now. Going into Steam, going into my library, looking at my achievements. None of this you can see. This is wildly entertaining for me to just talk through. Here we go. Empire's Rejected. It is defeat all core game adversaries on level 6. I just beat Brandenburg, Prussia on level 6. We all saw it. It was lovely. I think next step is to beat Sweden on level 6. So last time we fought Sweden, we very much need to remember this stage 2 escalation. Anytime a stage 2 card could be coming up, make sure that we don't have Dahan sitting in a place where they could be turned into towns, because that will be disastrous. Just a quick refresher on all the other terrible things Sweden does. They do their super ravages, where if it does at least 6 damage, it does more blight than usual. They get an extra city and an extra... no, it's just an extra city. They get an extra city during setup. They get this nonsense right here, where their cities and towns do extra damage. So that really affects our defense math. It does make it so that my main defend card, since it's defend 3, that can still take care of a land that has just a town and an explorer, since that'll be 4 damage, and that brings it down to 1 damage, which is fine. But it really makes it hard to defend in places that have cities and towns. Like if they explore into a place with a city and then build a town there, or even honestly just like since we're playing with the expansion, they'll explore into at least one city that has a disease. They won't build a new town there, but that's still 6 damage from the city and the explorer who just showed up. So that's a pretty big ask as far as defense goes. And if I don't defend it at all, it does 2 blight. So all of this is already awful. Then we get up to level 4, which I've never played on camera at 4 or higher. May have not played in person, although I think I attempted it with a friend, and I think we've beaten level 6 Sweden before. Anyway, level 4 says at the end of setup, after the Explore card, we accelerate the Invader deck. Discard the topmost card of the lowest Invader stage in the deck. On each board, add 1 town to the land with the fewest invaders that matches the discarded card. So basically that means there'll be an Explore card, then we will get rid of another card and add a town to it. The good news is that new card won't go into like the build stack, but there's a lot of bad here. Certainly, they're going to have lots of extra settlements thanks to level 2 and level 4 here. Mining Rush, if they do add Blight, it also adds towns. Cascading doesn't do that, thankfully. But yeah, whenever they're adding Blight at all, it's also going to make the board worse in terms of that. And finally, during setup, on each board, they get a town and a Blight inland number 8, which is, of course, very deep in the board. So it's even harder than usual to keep them out of the interior and prevent explorers. So they're starting with lots of stuff on the board, including extra Blight. Thankfully, it comes from the box, not the Blight card. It's going to be a challenge for sure. I thought about grabbing Dahan Insurrection again, because I do think that with Thunderspeaker, it actually makes the game easier, not harder, because as soon as you get to stage 2, you can basically just win, as I demonstrated last game. But I kind of want the challenge of playing it with no scenario, just because it's more impressive if I do it. And then maybe if I fail horribly, I can come back and try again differently. I did keep a balanced map board as well, because again, that feels more fair. And I did a random tile. Thankfully, I didn't get the terrible D tile, although I don't know if it'll even matter that much. But I hate that wetland on that D tile. As things stand, I think this is very doable. I am playing with the expansion just because I prefer it. I think it adds a lot of interesting stuff to the game. And certainly having that disease on land number 2 is always nice. So here's where we're at. All sorts of terrible setup things are happening, including exploring the wetlands, and then this jungle card means on each board, one town is added to the jungle with the fewest invaders. So I get to pick which of these jungles I want to get it. I think in the interest of trying to clear these lands, which looks possibly doable, I think I want it here, even though having a city and a town here is terrible. So let's do that. Okay, so we can certainly pull off a sudden ambush to prevent this build, and then possibly manifest here for a decent amount to take care of that before it becomes a problem. I doubt we'll be able to manifest for everything, although maybe? Okay, hold on. So sudden ambush just has to be range 1. So if I use this, add a presence here, I'll be able to sudden ambush here. The guy who's already there will do his 1 damage and prevent the build. Since I'm doing sudden ambush and manifest, I'll be able to pull in 2 Dahan into here. I'll have 1 presence there already, 1 more. So yeah, I'll only be getting 4 there. That will kill the city they just built and the explorer. The town will be doing 3 damage. I can Words of Warning next turn to prevent Blight. That seems decent. I think it's a strong opener, and we're gonna see where it goes. Okay, so do the things I said I would do. Nope, that's the wrong card. That's the right card. Okay. Sudden ambush here. Alright, they're coming to the mountains. You hate to see it. Okay, gather the warriors. Pulling you and you, along with my presence. No pushing. And manifest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So far, so good. But this and this are going to be an issue. I'll probably be able to defend here. I'm going to hope that I pull some kind of extra defend card during my turn 3 reclaim to deal with this. Don't really know how I'm going to do it yet. But I definitely want more presence down here to help deal with this. I think probably having presence in as many different lands as possible is a good idea. So putting one here and one here gives me the most flexibility as to where I can use my various powers. So we'll grab these two, finish playing cards, toss down my words of warning. Alright, so I hate cultural assimilation. I don't know if it's going to do anything. So in each land with exactly one Dahan, so that's like this one or this one, that has or is adjacent to a city, which is both of them, replace that Dahan with a town. That might be a game ender right there. We might just lose the game because that happened. And this is why I love the event deck, guys. Then this beast isn't going to do anything. And then reckless offensive on each board. Choose a land with at least 2 Dahan and at least 2 cities and towns. There are no places like that. Okay, well, this is terrible. Oh, good. For some reason, I thought cultural assimilation happened in each place where that was true. But looking at this, on each board in a land with exactly one. So I did at least get to pick between these two. I may be taking that back because I forgot they were about to ravage in the wetlands. And this ravaging here is terrible. So let's undo and choose this one. And still hate it because now they're going to build a city here. And now next turn is terrible for so many reasons. Alright. And we also didn't think about how the stage 2 escalation could affect things, but we lucked out. Okay, things are dire right off the bat. Let's not sugarcoat things. We are in a very bad place. Okay, so it's going to be a gather 3, push 2. Since this is doing 5, either of these places, if left alone, will do 2 blight. So I will flip this card if I don't figure out a way to fix at least one of them. We already have presence here. So I feel like concentrating our efforts here might be for the best, even though there's so much more damage to prevent here. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. So we might instead try to figure out a way to get that presence out, although I don't really see a good way. I guess I could gather here and then pull it back out, but that feels like a waste of a card when I could be focusing on getting as many people here as possible. So maybe that presence is just gone. Hoo boy. Well, if you came here to see me lose Spirit Island, you may be having a good time. Let's see here. So I can definitely get 3 Dahan pawn in here. I'm trying to think if I can get more than that. And I might be able to get 4. Yeah, I think 4 is probably the maximum. So let's try and get 4 here and focus on finding a defend card that solves this problem, even as this problem spins wildly out of control, and probably cascades into here. So let's gather the warriors here, grab you and you, along with 2 tokens. I could push up to 2 down here and then 2 from here with Voice of Thunder for a total of 4 in here, but that leaves 1 alone here, and there's a pretty decent chance that this is a wetland, at which point we're very sad. So I think we only want to push 1 here. Take this with you. And then we do Voice of Thunder, grabbing you, and this presence. Alright. Woof. If we don't get some good minor powers here, this run is probably over. Okay. I don't see any defend cards, which is rough. So Swarming Wasps, it adds a beast, or it can push some explorers if there already is a beast. It's decent, it's got good symbols on it, and it's free, and it's fast. It also requires it to be in a land without blight, which is maybe going to become a rare type of land very soon. So that's a downside. Delusions of Danger can push an explorer and prevent a build without jumping through all these hoops. So that's kind of nice. Do we currently have... No, that... We can't do it there. So we can't use it this turn for that use, and it does cost 1. Gift of Consistency gets me 2 energy, which Thunderspeaker is typically pretty energy poor, so that's nice. Lets me reclaim a power card, which is nice, and then this text doesn't matter. It doesn't have wind on it, though, so if there's any chance of making it to the mid to late game, this card's going to be kind of rough. Basically, I'm not liking many of these. Absorb Corruption certainly has some appeal since we're about to add like 3 blight to the board minimum, maybe more. But I just can't see myself using that when I could be doing some of these things. I think we're going to take Delusions of Danger and really hope for a defense card here. Okay, Confounding Miss is exactly what I was looking for. Defend 4 might just be enough, especially in conjunction with Words of Warning. The bottom half is neat too. It can not prevent builds, but make them matter less. The other cards are all slow. They don't help with my current problems, and I don't think they're really worth considering. Yeah, I think Confounding Miss is pretty much a no-brainer here. So, yeah. This place, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even if I had Dahan there, because Words of Warning requires Dahan, 4 plus 3 is 7. I would still be taking 1 blight here, even if I was able to throw both of my defend cards there. This place I can actually target with both of my defend cards. It's currently at 6. So these two combined will protect all of the damage. It'll also kill everything there, which will be very satisfying. It's not going to win me the game, but I think this is the right call. But we have some big, big problems elsewhere on the island. Alright. Words of warning here. Confounding mists here. Defend 4. Okay. On a coastal land on each board, we're going to move a town, 1 or 2 lands inland. There are no coastal lands like that. There's also no lands with disease. And I didn't actually see what the... Okay, hold on. I like actually seeing what's going on. Oh, we're getting extra defense in the place we already defended. Alright. The fear card is giving us, we can push 1 Dahan from a land with invaders, or gather a Dahan into a land with invaders. So right here, we've got tons of defense, and we really only need 2 of these. So I could push 1 of these out into where I'm going to need it later. Or I could use these, since they are not doing anything at the moment. But mountains could come up again at stage 2. So I don't know whether the mountain or the wetland is more likely to need people. So I guess I'll leave 2 Dahan in each. And I will push 1 you to here. Yeah, why not take a presence? Okay. Let's do here first, because that's good news. Does lots of fear. This place is terrible news. Yep. And then they're cascading. And I sure don't want it in the jungle, where they're going to ravage next turn. So we're putting it here. Oh, right. So the extra blight doesn't cascade, but they get an extra town. That's what I was doing there. Okay, undo that. Okay, so back to what we're doing with Ravage. So instead we have to think about where we want an extra town. And that's not nearly as simple of a decision. There's definitely an argument to be made for putting it in this sand here, because there's a beast there, and if we get lucky, a beast can kill a town. And so far that beast has been doing nothing for me. Yeah, I think that's my temptation. Like, I don't really currently have a hope of clearing out the inland, but I still always have the inclination to push things more toward the coast, and if nothing else, the sand is certainly close to the coast. It has a beast, and it's just as terrible if they explore it as this wetland. So, let's do that. Alright. Yep. Everything is awful. Oh, look, they explored the sand. Isn't that just great? Okay. So this turn. This turn is terrible. So this land is going to ravage for just ridiculous amounts of damage. This one's also going to be pretty bad. It's going to cascade into here. All told, they're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blight to the board, which probably loses me the game. And I don't even know if I have a way to defend, even if I reclaim. If I do, the 2 defend cards I already have That is 7. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is not enough to prevent that stuff. It prevents a single blight, but I have to have people there, and at least one of them will die. And that one's a lot harder to get to than this one, but this one I need even more. This one is doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. So I could reclaim, hoping for a much better defend card. It might be my only hope of not just losing the game here. So I think we do a last-ditch effort, gather as much in here as possible, and try to slam dunk like a defend 6 or better. I know there's at least a defend 6 in the minor deck, although we have added more cards to the minor deck by playing the expansion. Let's see, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a 6 plus a 4 would be 10. Oh god, that still wouldn't do it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and it's really not possible for me to get enough people over here to defend this. I guess the other option is to abandon the jungles, take one turn to regroup, hope I don't lose outright, and focus on the sand. So, if we're focusing on the sand, we could just gather 3 here, get the heck out of dodge, and at least if we lose outright from the jungle, it'll be over. I think that's about where I'm at. Basically, that first event card was the worst thing that possibly could have happened, and we were already in a tricky spot to begin with. There's probably a lot I could have done to make this not as bad, but here we are. So, I don't think I can resist getting up to 3 card plays. I think that is the correct move here. Certainly want to put a token here. Next token doesn't really matter because it has to be a place with Dahan, and both of them are pretty well filled. So I guess we'll just even it out. This one, and this one is what I can afford. That gets us all of these powers. And we're doing things fast, which helps a lot. It's going to prevent a city from being built here. Basically, if the Blight card flipping and doing 4 extra Blight after flipping doesn't lose the game immediately, we might be in an okay spot with regard to the sand. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, so either a Delusions of Danger or a Sudden Ambush will take care of this guy. Sudden Ambush really only has the opportunity... Well, okay, hold on. Okay, so lead the Furious Assault here, takes care of that town. Now we have 2 Explorers and 2 ways to deal with Explorers. So this is lovely. So the question is, where do we want the Explorer who doesn't die? And I think the answer is push it all in the jungle, because at some point I'm going to have to do horrible things to that jungle. So let us... Probably we at that point don't need to be in this sand, because that's actually further away from everything. I like where these 2 are right now as compared to if at least one of them was in the sand, because right now they're adjacent to this, and the sand will only be adjacent to this. So let's do the Delusions of Danger down here, push a guy, Just go hide in your little stupid capital nonsense there. Thankfully, Sweden doesn't do the I win if I have a capital like England does. That'll be next video. Or maybe the next video will be us playing this again. Okay, so that means we can then sudden ambush here. And then what I think I'm going to do is gather the warriors in the slow phase to pull them all in here, and next turn try to manifest there. Although next turn I'm going to have to reclaim, so I won't be able to afford manifest. Whatever, we're winging it. I think either way, we don't have anywhere that we necessarily want them in the fast phase. So let's see what happens before we use that power. Okay, so during the explore step, this will affect absolutely nothing because they were going to be able to explore everywhere anyway. So that's nice. There are no disease, so this does nothing. This also I think does nothing because there are no lands with invaders and Dahan. So basically this card does nothing. Alright. Yep, this is all very bad. So do your 2 stuff there. Oh, good. We got a card that means we don't lose immediately. Except maybe we do because it also adds a blight. Okay, well, let's find out. So, it says immediately on each board, destroy an animal. So we did that. There's no animals. And then add a blight to a land with cities and towns. So, if we add it here, then it will cascade. If we add it here, well, it will, like, the one that they are about to put there will cascade. If we add it here, it'll cascade now. If we add it here, it will cascade now and also when they add. So, any way you slice it, things are not good. I guess we'll put it here. We will cascade. Yeah, I think we just lost this game. It doesn't matter. Yep, they did that. Game over. Okay, well, that's Sweden level 6. I think next time I play this, I am going to try it with Dahan Insurrection, and probably try it on the East thematic board that I like, and then maybe try to make sure that their starting Explore card is also good. Here's some details. That is a 16. Not my proudest score. Here's these stats. I don't know if anyone likes those. Let me know in the comments if you like the fact that I always pull up the stats and show them. If that's interesting to you. Let me know in the comments so I keep doing it. Yep, that's it. See you next time. We'll try this again with slightly more favorable circumstances. Later.